Welcome back. This is 247 Evil Garage, and it's a beautiful morning in the spring up here in the Great White North. I'm taking the F150 for a drive today, and I'm heading to a city very close, Niagara Falls, to pick up a part. And the part I'm picking up for this particular truck is a common failure point with these trucks. I had the alarm going off all night long, so I left the truck unlocked. Now, I don't want to leave the truck unlocked because I'm parked outside all the time. So the best thing I could do is repair it. And the part that I'm going to repair is the hood latch assembly. And within the hood latch assembly is a switch. And as I'll show you later in this video. And the switch gets hit by all kinds of stuff. Water, salt, whatever. And it's a common failure point. And what ends up happening is the contacts don't exactly close. I had a hood ajar message earlier. And I had this alarm go off earlier on my truck before, like a couple of months ago. But all I did was I just reset the alarm on it, unlocked it, relocked it. But it's gotten to the point now where last night it was going off quite regularly, so I had to leave the truck unlocked. Don't like to do that. So I called around this morning, and I found a part up here, not far from my home, about 15-20 minute drive away. And I think it's around $131 plus Canadian and taxes. So I'm going to go pick that up right now, and then when I get the part, I'll head back home, and I'll show you the rest of it, how I'm going to be doing the job. So stick around for that. Alright, so I've got the part. That'd be the part right there, the hood latch switch. And it was $148.91 Canadian. So it's a little cheaper if you buy it in the States. My local Ford dealer did not have the part in stock, and he was charging me $150 and change plus tax. So he's 10-minute walk away. This place I went to in Niagara Falls is 15-20 minute drive away, but he was a little less money, and I dealt with them. And the part number, let me just turn this around. There's your part number, FL3Z, or Z in Canada, 16700B. That's the part that you got to change out here. You can see it's made in Canada. All right, and the issue with this part, let me just see if I can't show you, is right there. You see where that little bit of grease is? That's your contact. And if that gets all full of stuff, which it tends to do, the contact says it's open, the hood latch is open, then your alarm goes off. I had a hood ajar warning, and that's what it was doing. And it's very simple. A couple of bolts and electrical plug right there, and there's a cable that actuates the hood latch. I'll have to disconnect. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here, just so you see. And there it is. There's a couple of 10mm bolts. I believe they're 10mm. I'll double check that. And back in there is where the crud builds up as focus, as you can see. Pretty simple job. Some people remove this whole cover so they can access it. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to get in here and loosen off those bolts. But before you take the hood latch off, yeah, you can see where I cleaned, but you have to mark it. And you could either scribe it, or in my case, I'm just going to use a little bit of painter's tape, and to make sure the hood latch goes back in approximately the same location, so the hood opens and closes and is set to the right height. So I'm going to set up on working on this, and I'll get back to this video as soon as I have some stuff going on here. It's a pretty easy job, though. It shouldn't take too long. Alright, as you can see, I got the bolts out. Do not drop the bolts. Be very careful taking them out. It's not hard to get at. A little tight, but not too hard. I have to move this a little bit out of the way so I can loosen that bolt off. And right down in there, I just have to push on that tab and disconnect the electrical connection. Very simple. And in the back, there's going to be one for the cable. And there's you can see down there, I have to push the two tabs together. It's right there on the one right there. Push the tabs together. That'll pull that piece of plastic, the cable retainer, through the metal bracket, and then just disconnect where that goes into the bracket. And then the old latch is off. So I'll get back to that once I get it off. Alright, and there it is. There's the old part. I took it off. It literally takes minutes to do this. This is a really quick job. And as you can see back in here, that's the contact, and that's the wire. There's nothing really wrong with the wire and the connector. It's pretty good, but I suspect the problem's with that contactor, as you can see. It's pretty dirty in there, so I'm going to clean this whole part up and see if I can't fiddle with it and keep it for a spare just in case this happens again, because this seems to be a common problem with these trucks. So I've got that part off. This is the new part. It'll be going on. It's got the grease in there, as you can see. And the mounting points here, On my truck, I cleaned off the part on the rat support, and I'll be putting a little bit of petroleum jelly in there just for rust preventative, because we do live in the Rust Belt, and they put a ton of salt on the roads, and so I want to prevent that from corroding. Not that it's corroded much; it's in good shape right now, but I just want to, just for preventive maintenance. All right, I'll put the new part on, and I'll get back to the video. All right, well, it's not strictly necessary, but I put a little bit of petroleum jelly on the mating surfaces between the new latch and the rat support. Like I said, I live up here in the Great White North Canada. They like to use a lot of salt and brine on the roads. Not there's any corrosion there, but it's a little preventative. And I also used a little bit of dielectric grease in the electrical contact down there before I snapped it together. Again, not strictly necessary, but that's just something I did. And now comes the part where I put it back. This is critical. Do not drop the bolts. Okay, there are the two bolts. I'm not going to put any lubricant in the bolts putting it together, because it's not necessary. But you can get your hand in there and get the bolt started. Start with the one on the right. It's a little bit tougher. And then you might have to move the latch release mechanism out of the way to get the bolt in there. But it's not that big a deal. And when I get it bolted back, I'll be back. Yep, the job is done. I don't know the torque on those bolts, but I give them a good snug. And I make sure you use the original bolts. They have a little serration on the back, which it's critical. It's key. It keeps that part in place. And as you can see, I put a little bit of lithium grease on the latch and the spring, and I also put some rust check penetrating rust proofing on the actual part. Most places you don't need to do that, but up here we get tons of salt and brine on the road in the winter. It's not that. It's winter right now, but preventative maintenance. So the thing is done. It's a real quick job. You don't necessarily have to take off this whole thing here. You don't have to do that. I mean, you could if you want to. It's just push pins and a screwdriver or a trim removal tool. You can get underneath there and pop them out, and there's several of them in several locations. So you could do it that way if you so desire. And there's some more back here. I think that secures, yeah, that secures that. But I chose not to. I just chose to go in this way. And the key here is, do not drop the bolts. Do yourself a favor and be very careful when you remove them. They're fairly long bolts, as you've seen earlier in the video, but they come out pretty easily, and you might have to move that out of the way to get at that bolt there. Right in there. So I just, get the wrench in it. 10mm bolts, very simple, very easy. It's greased up, back in place. There's no codes. The hood closes where it's supposed to close. It's not sitting too high, not sitting too low. Easy to pop open, and hopefully that's the end of my alarms and hood ajar going off. And that was happening the other day, which is really annoying. And now I'm going to focus on this old part here. I'll get it degreased and cleaned up and see if I can't salvage it. A little contactor switch in there, maybe just replace that. I don't know, but I'll keep it as a spare. And worst come to worst, if this happens again, which I hope it doesn't anytime soon, maybe I could just make a dummy plug out of that and plug it into the wiring harness and be done with it, and not have to worry about spending almost 150 bucks Canadian on a new one. I'll probably be more money by that time. Okay, again, this video is for demonstration purposes only. I am not a mechanic. I'm not a genius. I am an idiot. I don't know what I'm doing. So take it as that. If you plan on doing this job. So I take no responsibility. But I fixed it myself and saved myself a little bit of money, because that $148, almost $150 could have turned into double that or more had you if I brought it to the dealership. And not that I begrudge them making their money, but honestly, it's a job that anybody with a little bit of mechanical knowledge or ability can do themselves. It's easy. 2 bolts, 10mm. There's your part. I went overkill and I greased everything up. You don't have to do that, but it's a pretty easy job. So I hope this has been a good video. If you do like it, I appreciate if you subscribe to my video and like it. That helps this crazy Canuck up here likes his cars. I appreciate that. And until next time, I'll see you.